So on this week's version of Seth's Picks, we start with Buford.
Well, there's your boy, Gabe Irvin Jr., just another day at the office.
I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean,
breaking tackles.
He made 3 guys fall on top of each other on that play.
This whole Buford offense has really gotten better since the beginning of the season.
Well, they've got
As I've said before, usual suspects.
They've got 2 great running backs, and they've got 2 real quarterbacks now, too,
yeah.
with Ashton Daniels and
both can make plays.
Yeah.
Another defensive play. I love the spin on the hit. Love that.
Dylan Whitkey was the other quarterback, by the way. I don't know why I blanked on the name all of a sudden there.
There we go. We'll go back and see it again. I thought this one just looked really cool because of the spin on the hit and the double takedown.
Buford's D has been locked down all season. I think they're giving up like 3 points in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's pretty
crazy.
insane. Ever since the North Cobb game, they've been, I think, what we expected them to be defensively, which is dominant.
Oh, yeah. And it's been a build process. Coach App will tell you they've had to use, the non-region of which looked like Swiss cheese because of all the cancellation and nobody wanted to play them, as kind of spring practice and OTA. So, I mean, this defense has really come on.
Another offensive move. God, I love that at the end.
That's Victor. Get out of my way.
Just nonchalantly runs over a guy 6 yards deep in the end zone.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel bad for that guy because, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, you got trucked, son. It was like, oh, you just happened to be standing there when he got all that momentum built up. Not to take away from the run, but it's kind of a funny setup to me.
And Victor Venn, a lot of times known more as a speed back, but he's got a little power to him too.
Yeah, a little punch there.
And some credit to the offensive line too that lost a couple big players to graduation. They've really gelled together.
We move on to Cherokee Bluff now. Defensive play from Cherokee Bluff. And the takedown.
Let's go, man.
There we go.
Goman's been huge this year for that defense.
Carver Atlanta had some really good athletes that gave Cherokee Bluff some problems, but really thought Cherokee Bluff's defense played great. Basically, Carver's entire offensive production was 2 plays.
Yeah.
There was, I think, a 30-something yard touchdown run and a 50-yard touchdown run, and that was really Carver Atlanta's only offensive production. I thought Cherokee Bluff's defense played really well.
Now, the play that sparked our argument. For those who want to see this argument, please wait to the end of the show.
Well, listen, regardless of what you call it, it was huge for Cherokee Bluff. This was really the key, I thought, of the comeback. There's no time on there's 1 second on the clock or 3 seconds on the clock when they snap this ball. This is your last play of the half. They're down 23-6. You have to get points here going into the locker room. And they do it, and they cash it in. And Carver Atlanta's defense was tough down by the goal line a lot of times in this game. This was a huge play for them.
Shaw Dabney with that pass is another usual suspect.
And Jalen Justice with the catch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here's, speaking of Justice, there he is on defense. Now coming up, I think that's White, Campbell, and Ty Corbin.
Pass, incomplete, another big hit.
So again, unfortunate that Eric Goman has to get the bad end of the backside of that play, but Cherokee Bluff's defense was harassing, and when you're out-athleted sometimes, as their defense kind of was against Carver Atlanta's offense, the way you solve that defensively is you just keep swarming to the football, and that's what they did. They just Carver Atlanta could not get the edge on the outside when they ripped off long runs. It was just Carver's athletes just making things happen in space when there was nothing there, because none of their design plays were really gaining much headway. Cherokee Bluff was just out hustling them to the corners. They were getting off of blocks on the outside. There was nothing outside the tackle box for Carver's offense.
Moving on, as I forget to turn my mic back on, moving on to Flowery Branch and Marist. This great hit, Flowery Branch just driving back, stopped him in his tracks.
Wes Brooks and Eubanks in on that tackle. And that's one of the things in that game we talked about earlier. The Branch defense really played well against a really good offense of Marist.
They did, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, Marist really, and I think one of Marist's touchdown came when they got a short field. Flowery Branch's defense, I thought, played
they had
about
a trick play as well.
They did?
The halfback pass.
There you go.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown on. I just thought, do we have that on the highlights?
Yeah, we do. I'll throw it up at some point. I'll throw it up.
How did it not make Seth's picks?
How did it not make Seth's picks?
We didn't know we were going to argue about these.
Yeah, I really didn't know. It would have been a better pick if I knew we were going to have this big argument about it. But we will move on to some offense. Renard, the usual pass, and the toe tap to stay in bounds.
Larson with the toe tap. Renard played gutsy in that game.
Connor Larson had a very good.
He did.
Yeah. Had a very good season.
2 in a row here on Seth's picks from Mr. Larson.
And he was
great jumping reception.
He was Flowery Branch's best weapon against Marist. He was the only guy who was really out there making a lot of really tough plays over the course of this game. And like I said, he had a great season all the way around.
And then we got Renard for our last one from Flowery Branch. Almost taken down, keeps his footing.
That was the 4th and long conversion, I believe.
I believe it, yeah.
Yeah. So, Renard, again, he's coming back next year, so there's a lot of kids coming back on that team as well that really sets up, hopefully, a good 2021.
And I think that does it for Seth's Picks for this week.
All right, guys, that was good on the Seth's Picks. I'll get it out here in a minute.